Good day. We are going to Act 1, Scene 2 of Merchant of Venice. Here, it's in a different setting. The scene takes place. Where does the scene take place? The scene takes place in Belmont, a hall in Portia's house. So, where does the scene take place? A hall in Portia's house in Belmont. Smaller to bigger when you say the location of a place. A hall in Portia's house in Belmont. We heard about Portia in the last scene. Bassanio was explaining what a beautiful lady Portia is. Now we are meeting Portia. And the characters are Portia and Nerissa. Nerissa is a waiting maid of Portia. She is more or less like a very close friend. Portia. By my troth, Nerissa, my little body is aweary of the great world. In the last scene, in scene 1, when the scene began, we heard the complaint of Antonio. Antonio was not in a good mood. Now, the second scene begins with Portia being not in a good mood. Portia is telling Nerissa, in truth, truly, Nerissa, I'm fed up of this world. My little body is weary of this great world. Nerissa, you would be, sweet madam, if your miseries were in the same abundance as your good fortunes are. And yet, for aught, I see they are as sick that surfeit with too much as they that starve with nothing. It is no mean happiness, therefore, to be seated in the mean. Superfluity comes sooner by white hairs, but competency lives longer. Now, here, what Nerissa says is, you are telling me that you are tired of this world. Definitely, you will be tired of this world because you have too much of everything. That is a problem. Whatever she wants, that she has. Definitely, we know that Portia is a rich heiress, so she must be having too much of everything. So Nerissa says, Portia is not is tired of this world or fed up of this world because she is having too much of everything. And then she goes on to say that those who have too much of everything and too little, those who don't have anything, both of them suffer equally. It is those who have just enough who live happily in this world. Just enough. That is, the middle class will live happily in this world. No, not the high class, neither the high class nor the lower class. It is a middle class that will survive happily in this world. You would be tired if your miseries were plentiful, like her fortune. It is because her miseries, if you wouldn't be tired, if you had just enough misery, if your fortunes and miseries were at par, that is the middle way. It shouldn't be high, it shouldn't be low. Portia, good sentences and well pronounced, well said. Nerissa, they would be better if well followed. Okay, ഒത്തിരിയും എല്ലാവരും ഒരുപാട് ഗുഡ് ഫിലോസഫീസ് ഒക്കെ പറയും, അഡ്വൈസ് ഒക്കെ പറയും. It'll be good if it was followed. All these sentences would be better if these good sentences, good advice is followed. For that, Portia says, example, if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, that is, പറയാൻ എല്ലാവർക്കും എളുപ്പാ. Practically, it is difficult. It's easy to say, but bringing it into practice is very difficult. If it was as easy, bringing into practice is as easy as saying these good things, then chapels had been churches. What are chapels? Chapels are small. See, the small church that we are having inside our convent, it is a chapel. Church means it is huge. where thousands and thousands of people can attend the service at a time. That is church. So chapels would have become churches, and poor man's cottages, princes' palaces. So, what is that philosophy that Portia is telling? Portia is trying to say that we are always told just what we just take only enough. What the extra you give off to those who need it. So that means if every rich was to give away whatever is extra to the poor, there will be no poor people in this world. You got the concept. It is a good divine that follows his own instructions. Only a very good a divine means a holy man will follow the instructions that he say. He says he'll stand in the pulpit and say great instructions, but only a good person and only a good holy person follows all these instructions. I can easier teach 20 what were good to be done. I can easily teach 20 people what are the good things to be done in this world, that be one of the 20 to follow mine own teaching, but I cannot make even one of the 20 to follow all those teachings. The brain may devise laws for the blood, but a hot temper leaps over cold degree. Such a hair is madness the youth. When people are young, the in our brain, like you forget all those complicated things. You take this simple thing. When you get the marks, your brain will decide, oh, tomorrow onwards, I must get up early at 5 o'clock and start studying. Only then I will be able to cope this up. Tomorrow onwards, I'm not going to sleep late. Late in the morning. I'll get up early in the morning. 1 hour, 2 hours, I'll study before the class begins. Before 7:30, the class begins. I will sit and study, and evening I'll sleep early so that I'll be able to get up late. Where that night also you'll be scratching on the phone 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. You got it. So brain devices in our brain we plans a lot of things, a lot of good things. But the temptation of the youth, it will jump over that decree. Decree means those laws, and we will not be able to control ourselves. But a hot temper leaps over a cool decree. Good counsel, the cripple. The good counsel is the good, it will jump over all these laws devised by the brains. But this reasoning is not in the fashion to choose me a husband. Now, why am I telling all these things? I cannot choose my husband. So that is Portia's problem. Antonio is not clear, has no clarity of what his problem is. He doesn't know about himself. He is a whimsical person. Write down that point. WHIMSICAL. Whimsical person. Now, what is a whimsical person? Whimsical person is a person who takes decision without much thinking. That is Antonio. Antonio is asking Bassanio to go out and borrow from somebody, and he will be the guarantor. He is very confident that within 2 months, 3 months, that he will get back all the money. He will be rich enough. He never bothers about his wealth, and he knows his Bassanio is a spendthrift. He spends money without thinking. He overspends. In spite of that, Antonio is ready to lend him money again. So much of love he has for Bassanio. But here, Portia is not like that. She has clarity. She is focused. She knows what is she doing. And here, what is her problem? She tells her problem. She cannot choose her husband. All these rules, no rule. I cannot say I cannot choose my husband. Oh me, the word choose. I may neither choose whom I would nor refuse whom I dislike. That is Portia's problem. She cannot choose the person whom she like. nor can she refuse a person she doesn't like. Now, what is the problem here? So is the will of a living daughter. Who is a living daughter? ജീവിച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന മകൾ. Who is the ജീവിച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന മകൾ? Portia. Will of a living daughter, the wish of a living daughter, curbed, controlled by the will of a dead father. So the daughter is living, but the daughter cannot choose or refuse a husband. It is controlled by dead father. The father is dead and gone, but his will, എന്ത് will, will patram, his will is controlling the will. What is that will? Wish of Portia. It is not, is it not hard, Narisa, that I cannot choose one nor refuse one? So isn't it സങ്കടമല്ലേ നെറീസ? എനിക്ക് ഇഷ്ടമുള്ള ആളിനെ എനിക്ക് കല്യാണം കഴിക്കാൻ പറ്റാത്ത ഭയങ്കര സങ്കടമല്ലേ നെറീസ? So that is what uh, uh, Portia is telling. So, what is Portia worried about? Portia is worried about the fact that she cannot refuse a husband whom she doesn't like, nor choose a husband whom she likes. But see what explanation Nerissa give. So, one, Portia is focused. She knows about herself, and she has a very good friend, Nerissa. Your father was ever virtuous. Your father was a very wise man. He was a very wise man and he had good character also. And holy men at their deathbed have good inspiration. So, whatever he has done and kept, that he decided when he knew that he was about to die. So, good people will have good inspirations when they are about to die. Therefore, the lottery. So, എവിടെയാണ് ഈ problem? Why she cannot choose or refuse? Because of a lottery. What is the meaning of lottery? It's not that lottery ticket. It's that making a choice. You're trying to make a choice. That is why it's called lottery. The lottery that he had devised in these three chests of gold, silver, lead. So there are three chests. Chest means big boxes. Okay. So there are three chests of gold. One chest is made of gold, one chest is made of silver, one chest is made of lead. Important. Whereof who chooses his meaning chooses you. So on these chests, certain writings are inscribed on these chests. So those who read that understand the meaning of that inscriptions, and then those who love, only those who love you dearly or truly will be able to choose the right casket. Will be able to interpret those readings correctly. Chooses his meaning, chooses you, will no doubt never be chosen by any rightly, but one who shall rightly love. So it will be chosen by the right person. You don't worry. Your father was a virtuous man. And holy men have good inspirations. So this lottery was decided out of good inspiration. Only the right person will choose the right casket. You don't worry. But then Nerissa says, but what warmth is there in your affection towards any of these princely suitors that are already come? Let me ask you one thing. There are so many princes who have come here seeking your hand. What is your opinion about those persons? What is your opinion about those princes? There are so many who have come here. Do you like any of those? I pray thee, overname them. You just name them one by one. And as thou namest them, I will describe them. I will describe each of them, what I think about each of them, what Portia thinks about each of them. And according to my description level, at my affection. So you can find out how much I love these people. So these things, my dear children, please note down in order. There are 6 persons about whom Portia is speaking. So note down these persons in order. First, there is the Neapolitan prince. Neapolitan means prince of Naples. Naples is the name of, like we say, if the from India, Indians, from Pakistan, Pakistanis, like that. From Naples, Naples. The prince from Naples is called Neapolitan Prince. Portia. Hey, that's a colt indeed. What is colt? The young one of a horse, Kudarakuti. That is a colt indeed. For he doth nothing but talk of his horse. So whenever he comes, when a boy loves a girl, the boy must be talking about the girl, about the girl's nose, about the girl's eyes, about the girl's face, color, complexion, smiles. But this fellow has come here seeking the hand of Portia, and whenever they are talking about the horse. This man talks. So the Prince of Naples, note down that point, talks about the horse a lot. Note that point. Portia calls him a colt, a young one of a horse. He makes it a great appropriation to his own good parts. He always speaks about different parts of the horse that he can shoe him himself. He is very proud that, you know what is shoeing the horse? A metallic thing is attached under the hoof of the horse, so that the that hard part of the hoof does not get rubbed away while running. A metallic part is fixed onto the horse, and that is called. That is why there is a that sound comes when the horse moves. So he takes pride in the fact that he can shoe the horse himself. I am afraid my lady, who is my lady? This prince's mother, the mother of the prince, that is the queen of Naples, lady, his mother played false with a smith. I'm very sure this queen must have been having an affair with a blacksmith. Or, in other words, what is Portia implying? Implying means trying to say, ah, this is not king's son. He must be the son of a blacksmith. Queen must have had an affair with a blacksmith. You got the idea? ആ ലൈൻ അടിച്ച് ഉണ്ടാക്കിയ മോനാണിത്, രാജാവിൻ്റെ മോനല്ല. Nerissa. Then there is the County Palatine. First person is Prince of Naples. The second one is County Palatine. Now, who is County Palatine? The County Palatine is means the count of the palace, Palatinate. The name of the place is Palatinate, Palatinate. So he was from Count Palatinate. He doth nothing but frown. What is frowning? That is frowning. Okay, always angry, always that is frowning. But frown, as who should say, and you will not have me choose. He hears merry tales and smiles not. The problem with him is he never smiles. He doesn't know to smile at all. He always keeps, if you want to choose, always with that frowning face. I fear he will prove the weeping philosopher when he grows old, being so full of unhumanity, sadness in his youth. Now itself, he is always sad. When he becomes old, he will become a weeping philosopher. Weeping philosopher is speaking about a philosopher who always said, oh, ഈ ലോകം ഇതെവിടെ പോവുക, always worried about what is happening to the world, always worried about the people are bad, always seeing the negative aspect of life. You have to take page 182, no, 183, 184, 185. About each person's it is written. I want you all to go through it. Those points are very important points. Okay, in the live class I'll underline and give you those important points. He will become a wave. So County Palatine always frowns. What is the problem with the Prince of Naples? The Prince of Naples always speaks about the horse He takes pride in the fact that he can shoe the horse. uh, he himself can shoe the horse, and he is more interested in the horse than Portia. Second one is County Palatine. The problem with County Palatine is he always frowns. He is never happy. He is always sad. I had rather be married to a death's head. Death's head means that skeleton, that skull. I'd rather marry to a death's head with a bone in his mouth than to either of these. Either of these, if she doesn't want to marry the Prince of Naples, she doesn't want to marry County Palatine. God defend me from these two. I don't want to marry these two people. So she doesn't like these two. How say you by the French Lord Monsieur Le Bon? Monsieur means Mr. In French, we say Monsieur. Le Bon. Bon means good. Le the. So that's the name of that person. Monsieur. What do you say about the French Lord Monsieur Le Bon? God made him, and therefore ദൈവം സൃഷ്ടിച്ചതുകൊണ്ട് ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു മനുഷ്യനാണെന്ന് പറയാം. God made him, therefore. Let him pass for a man in truth. I know. Let him pass for a man. So I am telling it is a man. In truth, I know it is a sin to be a mocker. It is not good making fun of others. But why he hath a horse better than the Neapolitans, a better bad habit of frowning than the Count Palatine. He is every man in no man. He has the qualities of every other person, but he doesn't have a quality of his own. He is somewhat like the Prince of Naples, somewhat like the County Palatine. If a throstle sing, he falls straight a capering. Throstle is a small bird. When that small birds make a quick sound, he will get frightened. That itself will frighten him. That is, for very silly things, he gets frightened. He will fence with his own shadow. He will fight with his own shadow. He will fight. That is, means what is the meaning of it? He's scared even of his shadow. If I should marry him, I should marry 20 husbands. അത് ഒരാളുടെ കാര്യം നോക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, തലവേദനയാണ് അതിലെ കല്യാണം. It will be equal to marrying 20 husbands. If he should despise me, I would forgive him. If he hates me, I can easily forgive him. For if he loves me to madness, I shall never requite. I will never be able to satisfy him. He is mental. That is what, in short, he is trying to say. The French Lord is mental. So let me go through it once more. Prince of Naples speaks about the horse a lot, takes pride in the fact that he himself can shoe the horse. He likes a horse more than Portia. Second one is County Palatine. The problem with him is he is a negative person. He always frowns. And the third one is Monsieur Le Bon, the French Lord. The problem with him is he is a little bit like the Prince of Naples, a little bit like the County Palatine. But the greatest problem with is he is always scared. He is always frightened. That is his problem. What do you then? What say you then to Falconbridge, the young Baron of England? So the fourth person is Baron. Baron means it is a position, like a collector. What is it? Commissioner, like that. It is a position in minister, counselor. It's a position in England. Baron Falconbridge, the Baron of England. You know, I say nothing to him. I cannot speak to him, for he understands not me nor I him. I cannot understand him. I don't know his language, and he doesn't know my language. He had neither Latin, French, nor Italian. So these are the three languages that Portia knows. Portia knows Latin, Portia knows Italian, Portia knows French. And you will come into the court and swear that I have a poor penny worth in English. That is, I don't know English at all. I don't understand English. He is a proper man's picture. Now, the problem with him is who can converse with a dumb show. So, where, how do we speak with him? Yeah, she has to use sign language to communicate with Falconbridge. Why should she use a sign language? He knows only English. She doesn't know English. She knows only Latin, French, and Italian. How oddly he is suited. എന്ത് വൃത്തികെട്ട ഡ്രസ്സിങ്ങാടേ അയാളുടെ how oddly is he dressed? I think he bought his doublet in Italy. See, during those times, this was a time when there were many expeditions sent to many countries. People, it was a time of Queen Victoria. Sorry, not Victoria, Queen Elizabeth, not this Elizabeth. Gloriana, one Elizabeth was there. She never married. That Queen Elizabeth. It was Shakespeare wrote the story during the time of Queen Elizabeth. It was a time when England was going as expeditions to many countries, and wherever they go, they were bringing things from there. So that's what is being said. He bought his doublet in Italy, round horse in France, his bonnet in Germany, and his behavior everywhere. Each thing, bonnet, hat from somewhere, uh, coat from somewhere, pants from somewhere. It's like that. Every part of it was brought from different countries, and he has the character of Norway. He doesn't behave like an Englishman. He doesn't behave like a Frenchman. He doesn't behave like any of these country people. He had a mixture of all the characters. What think you of the Scottish Lord, his neighbor? What is your opinion about the Scottish Lord? Now, Scotland is next to England. That is why his neighbor, Scottish Lord, his neighbor. That he hath a neighborly charity in him, for he borrowed a box of the year of the Englishman and swore he would pay him again when he was able. I think the Frenchman became his surety and sealed under for another. So during that time, a, a war was going on between the Scotland and England. The war was going on during the Queen Victoria's time. Because what happened was, I told you in the story earlier, Queen Victoria's father was Henry VIII. Henry VIII was actually married to a queen called Queen Catherine. In Queen Catherine, Henry VIII had a daughter, Mary. She is known as the Mary, Queen of Scott, Mary. Now, Catherine was the Queen of Scotland. What happened was, Henry VIII wanted a boy. Moreover, he fell in love with Anne Boleyn. So when Henry VIII wanted to marry Anne Boleyn, Pope said, Pope means the Catholic Church head. England was Catholic country. Pope said, no, 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 you cannot. According to Catholic law, during those times, according to Catholic law, divorce was not allowed. If you are married to a person, you have to live with that person till the end of your life. So Henry VIII said, no, who said, we don't want you. We are protesting against you. We will remain Christians, but we are not under you. I am the leader of the church. And thus, Protestant religion came into existence. So, the difference between Catholics and Protestants is this: Protestants do not acknowledge Pope as their head. It is the King of England who is the head of the Protestants. Now, Queen Victoria is not Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth was the daughter of Anne Boleyn. But you know, this Henry VIII did not stop with Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn gave birth to a baby girl again. And then Henry VIII beheaded her. Anne Boleyn was beheaded. Her head was cut off. And he married another queen. Like that, he married 6 times. He had 6 queens. Anyway, the children of all those children died or something and all happened. Finally, this Gloriana, that is Queen Elizabeth became the Queen of England. And she ruled a very long time, I think about 45 years. And she never married. She did not marry. Maybe because she had a dislike for marriage, seeing her mother being beheaded, all those things. Now, during those times, the Scotland took the help of the French to fight against England. The Scotland took the help of the French to fight against England. That is being mentioned here by Shakespeare. That he hath a neighborly charity in him. He is very neighborly. Neighborly charity means very respectfully treats the neighbor. Is very clear. Clear from the fact what? For he borrowed a box of the year of the Englishman. Englishman gave him a box of the year. You know what is a box of the year? That is box of the year. So who gave the box of the year? Englishman gave the box of year to Scotland. Scottish man. And swore he would pay him again when he was able. So what did the Scottish Lord say? നിനക്കിട്ട് ഞാൻ വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട് ഞാൻ തരാം when he is able, when I become able, I will return it to you. I think the Frenchman became his surety. Frenchman said, I am also with him. You know how what a scarecrow Frenchman is. And sealed under for another. That means the friendship between the Frenchman and the France and Scotland is being mentioned here. How like you, the young German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew. So first was Neapolitan Prince. Second was County Palatine. Third was, yes, the French Lord. Fourth was Falconbridge, Englishman. Fifth was the Scottish Lord. And the sixth one is German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew. Very wily in the morning. Morning, we cannot look at him. When he is sober, that is by afternoon, whatever he has drunk, all that is gone. When he is sober, that is when he is not drunk. And most wily in the afternoon. In the afternoon, he is worse when he is drunk. So, what is he is a drunkard. What is the German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew's problem? He is a drunkard. When he is best, he is little worse than a man. When he has the best behavior, a little worse than a man. And when he is worst, he is little better than a beast. So that means he is not good at all. And the worst fall and ever fell, I hope I shall make shift to go without him. It is better that I don't marry at all than marrying this drunkard. Then Nerissa asks a question. If he should offer to choose, suppose he is telling, I will choose the casket. And choose the right casket. Suppose he chooses the right casket, you should refuse to perform your father's will. Will you refuse to marry him? If you should refuse to accept him, you say that you don't want to marry at all if you have to marry. So, if he chooses the right casket, will you refuse to marry him? Therefore, for fear of the worst, I will tell you what we should do. Fearing the worst. What is the worst? Duke of Saxony's nephew choosing the right casket. I pray thee, set a deep glass of Rhenish wine on the contrary casket. Please, please, please help me. Put a big glass, deep glass means which holds a lot of wine. Put a Rhenish wine, a glass of Rhenish wine on top of the wrong casket. For if the devil be within and the temptation without, I know he will choose it. If you keep a glass of wine there, he will definitely go and for the sake of wine, he will choose the wrong casket. I know he will choose, I will do anything, Nerissa. Here, I'll be married to a sponge. Why is he called a sponge? Sponge is which absorbs a lot of water. So, sponge here means than marrying a drunkard, I will do anything. Now, Nerissa says, you need not fear, lady. The having any of these lords, you don't worry. None of these lords are going to marry you. All these 6 persons are not going to marry you. They have acquainted me with their determinations. They have already told what they have decided. Now, what have they decided? Which is indeed, to return to their home and to trouble you with no more suit, unless you may be won by some other sort than your father's imposition, depending on the caskets. They are not here to choose the caskets. They are trying to find out if there is any other way to marry you. Otherwise, they are just leaving, they are just returning to their homes. So now we stop here. Thank you.